Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. Please enjoy this video on the Political Voices Network.
By the way, we've been talking about this, just modeling courage and how important that is. And we were mentioning Harry Littman, Olivia Troy, some stuff going on at MSNBC, obviously, with Joe and Mika and all of that. But I am so with David Frum when he says, essentially courage is contagious and so is cowardice. And it's more important than ever. What's the old saying, right? We hang together or we'll hang separately, right?
Yeah, don't obey in advance. We're going to keep fighting and fighting and fighting. And here's the thing, Steph, we're going to win because Donald Trump is going to overplay his hand. Yeah. Look at the Republican infighting. Look at the way the Senate Republicans, no model in courage there, they are diluting Donald Trump's strength and power and influence by the day by rejecting, and it looks like soon to reject some more of his nominees. This is a really good thing. It tells me that maybe the Senate Republicans, now comfortably, entrenched in Congress, having been reelected, are not going to just give over all their power to an aspiring dictator. We're going to keep fighting with everything we've got.
By the way, speaking of, I know, again, profiles in cowardice, Lindsey Graham pulled a flip-flop in near record time, dismissing a litany of misconduct allegations against Pete Hegseth that just a day earlier he had called very disturbing. Yep. So then he goes on Hannity and said, I've heard everything about all these people. None of it counts. No rumors, no innuendo. If you're not willing to raise your hand under oath and make the accusation, it doesn't count. Right. So, and you know why? Obviously, like he would go all, what would his Lady Macbeth Kavanaugh appearance on any poor woman, right, that would come before them. And first of all, he made her sign an NDA. So this is ridiculous, right?
Yeah. I mean, he paid off his victim, it looks like, to keep quiet. But I have a feeling she will somehow have to testify. Pete Hegseth, who, for God's sake, says women can't serve in combat, but sends his mom to Congress to fight his battles for him. That's not an original thought by me, but come on now, sport. I mean, there's no way this guy can be in charge of the U.S. military. That does such a disservice to the men and women of the armed forces that it really is. It's an embarrassment.
So, the lawyer for Pete Hegseth told CNN's Caitlin Collins the woman who accused him of rape is no longer bound by a confidentiality agreement. Tim Parlatore said, Caitlin said, you said you believed it's extortion, but of course, as you know, extortion is also a crime. So if you felt it was extortion, why not go to the police at the time? And then he said the equivalent of, he said, then he said, if he's not confirmed as Secretary of Defense, we may still bring a civil extortion claim against her. So what the hair that he's splitting, Glenn, is he said this is a confidential agreement that had confidentiality on both sides. That agreement has since been breached by her. So as a result, I sent notice to her attorney that agreement is no longer in force. Well, first of all, we all know why so many rapes go unreported, because you know what they're going to do to her if she did come forward. But what is your take on that? I don't even know if he's telling the truth. What the difference between an NDA and a confidentiality agreement?
He still can't.
Yeah, who knows? And these people are going to say anything they can to try to support a guy like Hegseth. The same thing went on with Matt Gaetz when he went through that. I don't know if it was a legitimate announced nomination or not. But Matt Gaetz apparently is going to be AG, so he instantly has to resign from Congress. Well, wait a minute. Marco Rubio is allegedly going to be Secretary of State. He didn't instantly resign. Or how about Elise Stefanik? She didn't instantly resign when Trump announced, she was going to get some position. So what was it? It was a game that Matt Gaetz appears to have played to try to prevent the ethics report from being disclosed. All of this is all gamesmanship by these people.
And House Republicans just blocked the release of the Matt Gaetz Estes report. Don Bayer just tweeted this that looked into criminal allegations about sex with a minor. And first of all, that's our report, as we said, right? The taxpayers paid for that, and he certainly is not going to leave public. He's probably going to run for governor of Florida, right? So
why should the voters, why should his constituents know anything about his misconduct that was investigated and resulted in a report being authored by the House Ethics Committee? I mean, maybe he considers himself a Supreme Court justice, so the ethics don't apply to him either. I don't know.
Yeah. So you had said, I know Trump thinks he can flood the zone with unqualified hacks like Hegseth, Patel, Gabbard, and others, but consider he wanted Rick Scott to be Senate Minority Leader. Republican senators said nope. He wanted Gates as AG. Senators said nope. It seems like a pattern emerging. That's part of this. Don't obey in advance. Things are not inevitable. He's not the great and powerful Oz. This is a clown show, and he's not even in yet. Right?
Yeah, Steph, it's a little bit of a team of rivals, or the old saying, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, because the Senate, said no to Rick Scott as Senate Majority Leader, said no to Matt Gaetz as AG. It looks like they may be preparing to say no to Hegseth. And, there was a lesser covered defeat, Donald Trump defeat. The head of the DEA, the person he nominated or said he would nominate to be head of the DEA, a few days later, there were some Republicans who were making some noises about he wasn't MAGA enough, and he withdrew. And then Donald Trump played catch up and said, he didn't withdraw. I got rid of him. Well, no, look at the timing. It looks like he didn't get rid of him. So look, it's defeat after defeat after defeat.
Yeah.
And what that is doing is it is weakening Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Before he's even sworn in.
Let's just let them eat themselves. It's a big bag of rats already, right? MAGA is mad at, Ron DeSantis. They don't want him as defense secretary because was against Trump. They're mad at Joni Ernst because she didn't come out in support of Pete Hegseth. They don't want her. I mean, what a S show already.
The infighting will be glorious.
Yeah.
Oh, hi. I just finished, I'm going to say, an 11 billion mile bike ride. And thank God I happen to have this magic potion with me, ASEA, as seen on the Stephanie Miller Show. It helps my cells communicate better so that I can heal faster from overdoing because I'm lying about my age. I also use it on my face.